crime story.
The mysterious case of 24-year-old Phoebe Handsjuk, an accident or a clever murder. The police asserted that Phoebe Handsjuk, a young woman in Melbourne, Australia, sleepwalked into the garbage chute of an apartment building, resulting in a fatal crash. However, her family maintains suspicions that her demise may have been a deliberate act of murder. Phoebe Handsjuk, a 24-year-old known for her love of mountain climbing and martial arts, possessed a smile that could warm the hearts of both men and women. Tragically, on December 2, 2010, her life came to an end in one of the most peculiar incidents in Australian criminal history. According to official records, Phoebe, under the influence of sleeping pills, entered a state of somnambulism and made her way into the garbage chute on the 12th floor of an apartment building where her boyfriend resided. The outcome was a devastating crash. Melbourne law enforcement discovered her lifeless body in a dumpster, having fallen into it feet first, resulting in her demise due to the impact. While the police initially closed the case, deeming it a suicide, the coroner described Phoebe Handsjuk's death as a freak accident. However, Phoebe's friends and family could not accept such an unusual and tragic explanation for her passing. Independent experts involved in the case found the incident to be highly improbable, as it seemed unlikely that Handsjuk could have reached the chute on her own. The grieving mother of the young woman firmly believes that her daughter was deliberately pushed down. Amateur investigators who have eagerly embraced the case often point their fingers at Phoebe Handsjuk's boyfriend, 40-year-old Anthony Hampel, a figure locally known as a major. He happens to be the offspring of the city's chief justice and heads a prominent event agency, living a conspicuously unrestrained lifestyle that includes frequenting bars, restaurants, and nightclubs. Surprisingly, Anthony has never faced official accusations or even suspicion in connection with this murder, despite being described by some acquaintances as a somewhat volatile and emotional individual. Even the perplexing circumstances surrounding the complete erasure of all of Phoebe's recent emails and the unexplained disappearance of one of her cell phones failed to prompt a more thorough investigation by the police. Do these discrepancies cast doubt on the case? Phoebe Handsjuk. Born in Melbourne, Australia's second-largest city on May 9, 1986, Phoebe Handsjuk had an inherent connection to nature from a young age. She held the distinction of being the eldest among her siblings, two brothers named Tom and Nicholas. Her father, Len, pursued a career as a psychiatrist, while her mother primarily tended to their children's needs. In the eyes of their community, they epitomized a model family residing in the affluent Richmond suburb. Nonetheless, at the age of 15, Phoebe's life took a tumultuous turn as she fell in with a troubled crowd, grappling with addiction to drugs and alcohol. When her concerned parents attempted to intervene, Phoebe made the drastic decision to run away from home, seeking refuge with an ex-convict and his child for an 8-week period. Eventually, her family managed to reason with her, leading to her return home. Phoebe embarked on a journey of recovery, which included antidepressant prescriptions and efforts to conquer her addiction. In time, she successfully overcame her self-destructive habits, finding solace in her passion for extreme sports and martial arts, particularly excelling in rock climbing. Despite the hurdles she had overcome, Phoebe did not pursue higher education. In 2009, at the age of 23, she worked as a hairdresser at Linley Godfrey's studio in South Yarra. During this period, she crossed paths with Anthony Hampel, a 39-year-old client who became a regular at the salon. Phoebe was instantly captivated by the charming and vivacious event planner, Anthony Hampel. He hailed from a distinguished lineage, with his father, George Hampel, serving as a Supreme Court judge, and his stepmother, Felicity Hampel, holding the position of county court judge. Contrary to her reputation for capriciousness, Phoebe's actions defied her boss, Linley Godfrey's, expectations when she forged a connection with Hampel. While Linley initially suspected Phoebe might indulge in a brief dalliance, Phoebe's relationship with Hampel proved to be more enduring. After just 5 months, Phoebe made the decision to move into his apartment on St. Kilda Road in October 2009. However, the following 14 months saw Phoebe grapple with resurfacing issues related to alcohol consumption, compelling her to seek assistance from psychiatrist Joanna Young. On occasion, Phoebe confided in Young, hinting at instances of mistreatment and even physical altercations involving Hampel. Their relationship grew increasingly strained, marked by Phoebe leaving Anthony on 4 separate occasions in the 6 weeks leading up to her tragic demise. To the concern of Lindley Godfrey, who shared a close bond with Phoebe as her employer, Hampel managed to persuade her to return each time. Tragically, her 4th return marked her final chapter. The circumstances surrounding Phoebe's enigmatic death in a garbage chute cast a shadow of uncertainty. On December 2, 2010, the day of her passing, Phoebe, her father Len, and Hampel had agreed to convene for a dinner gathering. In the interim, Phoebe intended to tend to chores at her boyfriend's apartment. After her domestic chores, Phoebe took the dog for a walk. Surveillance footage captured her return to the apartment building at 11:44, where she calmly ascended to the 12th floor. However, as no surveillance cameras were present on that particular floor, the events that unfolded thereafter remained shrouded in mystery. Hampel recounted returning home slightly past 6 p.m. and was greeted by a disconcerting sight. As he entered through the unlocked door, the apartment revealed a chaotic scene. Glass shards and blood were strewn about, most conspicuously splattered across the keyboard and computer monitor. Phoebe Handsjuk was conspicuously absent, although her purse, wallet, and keys remained arranged on the kitchen table. Additionally, 2 empty flutes were discovered, subsequently revealing only Phoebe's fingerprints on them. Alarmed by the situation, Anthony promptly contacted the police, who located her several hours later within a ground floor trash container. Phoebe had succumbed to death several hours before the discovery, exhibiting a significant alcohol content of 1.6 parts per million in her system, signifying severe intoxication. Further investigation disclosed traces of 1 or 2 sedative sleeping pills prescribed by her doctor. The police investigation determined that Phoebe Handsjuk had fallen down the garbage chute, with the incident occurring between 12:03 and 18. Although the chute's dimensions were relatively narrow, measuring 37 by 22 centimeters, it theoretically permitted a person of her size to enter. The coroner's report stated that she fell with her feet foremost, and her arms were constrained against her body. It was also noted that Phoebe survived the fall as the accumulated debris mitigated the impact. She made an effort to extricate herself from the container, but was hindered by the fractures sustained, leading to her demise due to blood loss. Among the enigmatic details surrounding the incident were evident bruises on Phoebe's arms, which appeared inconsistent with the notion of a fall or descent through the garbage chute. However, the police attributed these peculiar injuries to her inebriated state and sleepwalking tendencies. Late investigations. Phoebe Handsjuk's grandfather, Lorne Campbell, a retired police detective, received the harrowing news at 10 p.m. that fateful night. When he arrived at the scene, he witnessed the aftermath firsthand. Right from the start, remarked Lorne Campbell, I suspected foul play. However, after an exhaustive 5-day investigation, involving a meticulous examination of CCTV footage, scrutiny of all of Phoebe's electronic devices, and analysis of fingerprints both in the apartment and near the garbage chute, the homicide detectives ultimately ruled out homicide. Their working theory was that Handsjuk had either accidentally or intentionally broken some glassware, leading to a cut on her hand. In her attempt to seek information online, like how to stop bleeding, her computer became tainted with her blood. Subsequently, she disposed of some trash, inadvertently dropping something significant down a manhole. Intoxicated and unaware of the impending danger, Phoebe attempted to retrieve the item from the garbage chute, leading to her tragic fall. Another hypothesis suggested she had fallen into a deep slumber due to a combination of alcohol and sleeping pills, unknowingly climbing into the garbage chute in a state of somnambulism. As improbable as it may sound, the conclusion reached was that the incident was indeed an accident, prompting the closure of the case. Lorne Campbell expressed his dissatisfaction with the investigation, asserting that they had overlooked significant details. He pointed out that besides the flutes, from which he believed prints were deliberately wiped, shoe tracks leading away from the apartment were disregarded. In an attempt to reenact the sequence of events, he sought out a volunteer who bore a resemblance to Phoebe, determined to uncover the truth. Climbing up the garbage chute, even for a sober and well-prepared individual, proved to be an immensely challenging endeavor. While it was acknowledged as theoretically possible, the act resembled more of a complex circus stunt. One of the major challenges, explained Campbell, besides the narrowness of the hatch, is that the door pressed against your lower back, making it constricting and lacking any gripping points. It's a daunting task, and whatever substances were in Phoebe's system at that moment would only have exacerbated the difficulty. In 2013, Phoebe Handsjuk's mother spearheaded an effort to reopen the investigation into her daughter's untimely death. A sum of $50,000 was raised to cover the legal expenses, reflecting the cost of the Australian court system. Phoebe's boyfriend became the defendant, with Hampel's lawyer asserting that she had climbed into the chute while sleepwalking, a stance corroborated by coroner Peter White. On December 10, 2014, the trial concluded in favor of Anthony Hampel. Yet, there was another theory unrelated to Phoebe's boyfriend. Campbell harbored the belief that his granddaughter's death might have been connected to Melbourne's drug trade, although no concrete evidence supported this notion. Many Australians continue to hold the belief that Hampel was the perpetrator, who managed to evade justice due to his influential connections. Tragically, following Phoebe's death, Anthony embarked on a relationship with a 25-year-old model named Bailey Schneider. In a distressing turn of events, in 2018, Bailey was found deceased with a cord wound around her neck, either marking a series of chilling coincidences or an unsettling pattern. Adding to the intrigue, Bailey's demise occurred mere hours after their breakup. She was found at her parents' residence in Moonee Ponds. Law enforcement classified Schneider's passing as a suicide, but her parents vehemently assert that it was a homicide. In the meantime, Hampel went on to sell his apartment and entered into a joyful marriage. Nonetheless, the families of Phoebe Handsjuk and Bailey Schneider remain committed to uncovering evidence that challenges the perception of him as a benign event organizer, instead casting him as a ruthless serial killer. I hope you liked this story. Please don't forget to leave a comment sharing with your thoughts below. Give a thumbs up this video, and remember to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more captivating stories. Thank you for joining us on this remarkable journey, and we'll see you in the next video.